their Tainted Minds result.
Right.
So they have got the map wins on the board as well from Tainted Minds, which was 3.
That was very confusing. You should update your spreadsheet, Jordan.
Yeah, I did, but I forgot to sticky it into my doc. That's okay.
Right.
But
that was very confused.
They have played and won 4 maps. They've lost 11, but they also have that tie against Tainted Minds.
So it feels like Kanga is the team here with something to prove, potentially.
Yeah. Look, I think SereNity has something to prove as well. Both these teams really have something to prove at this point because neither have really been able to solidify themselves towards the top end of the group.
The reality is it doesn't matter who Elfishguy and Sandman think are the underdog in this battle. It just matters who wins.
That's exactly right. And Loka starting off with an initial pick there for Kanga Esports. Put them in a good spot for this first cap. And SereNity wisely just backing off here. They're not going to commit everything to that fight until the respawns do come across. Now Nox thought he had a moment there to find a kill, but at the end of the day, it's all going to work out in Kanga's favour.
It certainly will. That's a great way to kick things off. Kanga going to pick up the first point. Tick, tick, ticking away. Going to make the most of this one. And to be fair, they do so pretty easily. I guess once the battle starts to go your way, of course, can be a little bit easier to clean up. And that's precisely what they did. You can take a look at these ultis as well, now sitting in Kanga's favour. So should be able to help them buy a little bit more time here, Jordan.
Theory. SereNity's also lost a player, so who was that? Nox? No, he's there. Kavino? No, he's there. Everyone's there.
Mini? No, he's there.
No, he's there.
Arceus? No, he's there. Forbles? No, he's there.
Fluoroash? I think it's Fluoroash. Where's the pause, guys? Come on, SereNity.
Calming their farm.
Well, they've paused, but they haven't actually paused the timer.
They're just letting it tick away.
Kanga's like, what's going on?
There we go. That's not how you ask for a pause. Anyway, we're here.
Yeah.
So, 49% is where it's at, Jordan. And considering that was a pretty easy first fight coming out from Kanga, they'll say thank you.
Yeah, look, I'm not sure where exactly or who it was actually that ended up sort of timing out. But whatever the case, that's a bit of ult charge lost. I'm not sure if when they come back in, they get their ult charge reset. I don't know how the actual mechanics of the realm works, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I don't think they come in. I think they come in with 0%, which is not fun.
It's not what you want.
Especially if you're trying to retake the point instead of just holding it, you know.
The benefit here, though, if it's going to happen anywhere, you want it to happen on control because, of course, you get that hard reset every time, every round. 3 rounds, you lose the first one, you can win the next 2. You don't have to worry about ult economy. If you get destroyed on round 1, that's it. It doesn't matter.
It's still early days as well. You know, there's plenty of time to charge up some ults and everything like that. So let's not get too far down that rabbit hole. But obviously, it's not been the start that SereNity would have wanted. I mean, there's not a lot to talk about in this matchup. They lose that initial pick, and then essentially the fight sort of snowballs from there for Kanga, where they have that player advantage and come away with the better of it. Now, we're just waiting to see SereNity go for their first attempt at retaking that point or taking it in the first place.
Yeah, so we can go back to our previous conversation, Elfishguy, which was putting satellites into orbit.
Was that our previous conversation?
No, that's from like an hour and a half ago. And we put it on the.
I don't even remember it.
You don't remember talking about satellites into orbit, and why there's a telescope on the moon?
Maybe we should put you into orbit.
Oh, I'll go. It'll be exciting.
So Fluoroash, yeah, he comes in with 0%, which is a little bit unfortunate there for SereNity, but they're gonna have to deal with it. And Kanga's all this meanwhile thinking, well, I mean, we've just got essentially another 20 or 30% for free because SereNity took so long to pause there.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one now onto the point. They essentially allow them onto the point. Roro goes down straight away from Forbles. Kanga have so many ultis to use here. He's going to use one on Merit, but they've lost another player as well. Kavino comes through with the Dragon Blade, a little bit less effective up against a team with shields all over their bodies. Going to get forced back off the site. The point will continue to tick in Kanga's favour, 87-88. That's where it's at right now. You can see SereNity's actually lost 3 players. Pizza on the point. Self-destruct comes out, wants to jump on out, doesn't even need to, just throws down the projected barrier there. 98-99, we're into overtime, Elfishguy. And with that Primal Rage coming out as well, I think if you're SereNity, you really just say, look.
I'm pretty sure this one's over. Like,
we'll put that one to the side.
Time to put the GG in the chat for this round at least. Kanga just had too much to deal with for SereNity, but look, SereNity's going to still try and trickle in here and make something happen. They've got some numbers on that point, but again, another self-destruct coming out there from Ziggy, and Roro now coming in with a tactical visor. Might be enough to seal the deal. Eventually, looks like SereNity's actually fallen off the point there. Probably an inopportune time. But anyway, at the end of the day, look, that was not the ideal first round for SereNity. Things didn't go so right for them. They had that the disconnect as well. Let's just, you know, let's not, I don't want to really put too much stock into that one, because I do think it could have been closer if SereNity really had a good crack at that one.
It definitely could have gone differently. So,
yep.
Does not matter. We're on to round number 2. We'll see if SereNity has a little bit more luck this time, or whether Kanga can take advantage of what just occurred and close this one out nice and quick. That would be precisely what they want to do here. And that would really, I think, if they can close this one out here, potential to put SereNity on tilt, going through to map number 2, and that's the right position if you're Kanga Esports. It's where you want to be.
It's absolutely. Both teams going to go for a straight-up dive here, although Cavino has gone for the Tracer. And we've seen him a lot on the Sombra, but not so much on Control. I wonder if that's going to be something that's going to be pulled out in the next couple of maps. Not so the case just yet, though. Both teams are going to try and keep themselves fairly healed up. But DMEC does come across, though, onto Ziggy. That's a good opening for SereNity. Try to make something happen off the back of that, and they will.
They will indeed. They actually find 3 across the board. Now only losing Forbles. Cavino losing a bit of HP. Does manage to get it all back. And they will be able to capture the point. So, SereNity with a nice first little push there. An exact opposite start to what we saw out there on Village.
Yeah,
sorry, it was Shrine, I think, even.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. We haven't seen Village just yet here. But for Kanga, it's a better start to the round, and maybe they can hold off as a result of that. For now, SereNity is just trying to hold on to the point.
Cavino
too well.
Almost ready for attack visor as well. So precisely what they want to work out. Going to push through, get to 29-30%. Easy live. Looking very good now at SereNity on the point. As I say, that Forbles goes down to Roro. Sound barrier going to come out for the red team. Kanga Esports on the point. Pulse Bomb comes through, finds no one. Ziggy's managed to DMAC his counterpart right now. Nox pushing through, self-destruct coming out on the point. But Locust actually finds 2 Elfishguy.
Yeah, Nox can tag this point as well, just to buy a little bit more time there for SereNity. Gets another couple of percentage up for them, which is always nice. But Kanga finally do manage to get the flip. But definitely looking a lot better, though, for SereNity. In the end, they lose that fight, but look at what they used there. They used only self-destruct and a Pulse Bomb. They're in a really good spot to retake this one up against only the Dragon Blade of Roro, and unless he goes up absolutely massive here, it's not going to work for them.
Sound barrier onto Dragon Blade once again, does not work out very well. Roro force back, Transcendent comes out. You can see the Primal Rage, and now that Tac Visor here being used by SereNity. They're on to the point. They want to try and grab it back. They should be able to, and if they do, they'll be in a great position to bring this up to 80%, I'd say.
Yeah, someone just needs to get rid of Roro here. And in fact, Fluoro Ash keeps both of those players off the point long enough for SereNity to cap, and now SereNity can just wait and stagger Roro, who inevitably dives down to his death. But that's a good retake there from SereNity. Are they going to be able to hold on to it, though? Because, well, they used a lot to get it. Kanga on the same token don't have much to play with here, so might be a bit of a slower passage of play.
Normally you'd think that even after that, Kanga might have a couple ultis ready to use. I'm not sure if they threw a couple out. I suspect they did. Obviously, I think that Dragon Blade maybe came out. Mini going to go down to Pizza. That's what Kanga wants. An opportunity maybe to take this one back, as I said, up to 80%, make that 85. Now Pizza onto Fluoro Ash. That's 2 for Kanga. Make that 3. They'll be able to get the point back here.
Yeah, but SereNity should be able to buy enough time to get this up to almost 99%. In fact, 94% is what it's going to be when they tick it over. And so SereNity have a huge amount of time to play with here up against Kanga. Unfortunately, still do not have the ultimates that they would want for the retake. And in fact, I would say Kanga's probably looking a little bit better in that department, having Roro and Davey. Well, Roro very shortly. Look at the positioning of Locust. Has been very, very sneaky on that Tracer throughout the entirety of this round.
No Pulse Bomb to work with, though, but we'll still try and do the most.
Perfect
well,
dive.
Forbles make that Fluoro Axe. That's both the supports out here for SereNity. Kanga's also dropped the sound barrier in the meantime. Cavino, the last one remaining by the looks of it for the team, maybe just being resurrected first.
That's a really, really solid dive out from Kanga Esports.
Yeah,
you could see the coordination. Locust didn't even really have to do anything, and 4Balls just fell over, essentially. Pisa leading the charge, Roro following up there as well. And it seems to be working quite nicely for Kanga. Now, I'd say they're in a better position here than SereNity actually are at 80% with the cap in their favor, however. As Locust tries to be a bit of a mosquito in the back line. Ziggy might almost get demec'd, however. Transcendence comes out from Merritt. Roro has been dropped though, so that's good news for SereNity.
So far, this has been pretty good coming out from Kanga. They've managed to pull a really nice comeback here. But as I say that, that's 3-4 players going down now for Kanga. You hear that tac visor going off from Covino. They'll clear it up, grab the point, and SereNity should make it 1-1. That's
going to be that. Some critical ultimates coming up just in time for SereNity and Kanga Esports. Not even sure they can contest. Indeed, they cannot. It was a great ultimate out from Merritt to keep almost everyone alive, but unfortunately Roro did get picked off, and that was the trickle that became the waterfall, really, for SereNity. 1 pick turned into 3, turned into 6, turned into the round win, and now we're suddenly here at 1 apiece, moving on to Village, and still anyone's game as far as I'm concerned, Ben.
It is, and that was actually pretty close. That was back and forward. It looked like Kanga had a disadvantage, but they managed to claw their way back into it, got very close. Alas for them, SereNity too strong. We are, of course, now finally onto Village. I tried to preempt this earlier, but we weren't there yet. Mini on the Reinhardt. We have seen Reinhardt has been strong so far today, but up against Roro on that Pharah, sometimes an uncontested Pharah is difficult here on Village.
Yeah, definitely. But Covino could also cause some problems if the fight is going to occur on the point, which is exactly where SereNity have situated themselves. So they're playing around their own win condition. So too is Kanga by trying to take the fight off the point. But inevitably, this point will tick down and Kanga has to contest it. That's where the fight's going to start to favor SereNity, if it hasn't already, given the pick of Nox.
Yeah, and Merritt going down makes life much more difficult now
that's the
for Kanga. See ya later. SereNity capture the point. Really, all they had to do was get on the point, which they did, uncontested, and then just sit it out. Finding that first pick makes life all that easier, all that sweeter. Now Roro up here with the Pharah. Let's see how this plays out. We talked about these two conditions, Jordan. 4Balls going down.
Yeah, he's kind of walked into a couple of rockets there, which is really unfortunate. Now Kanga will try and recontest off the back of that.
Look at this Tesla cannon doing so much damage, which means Pizza gets primal raked so very quickly. Sound barrier comes out from SereNity. Mini almost dead. Mini goes down. Roro with a barrage. We'll see if this one comes through with any sort of damage. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. And Kanga should now be able to get the point.
They certainly should, and I mean, really, that's all just the back of 4Balls not quite being in that fight. How much that healing could have definitely helped out SereNity, not to mention Roro gets a fantastic barrage off. Perfect opportunity for him with no one to really contest him. And look, it's ticked back over to Kanga, maybe a little bit faster than I would have expected. SereNity forced to try and retake it, but look at all the ultimates that are about to come up. We've got Self-Destruct, Death Blossom, Earth Shatter, and Covino's popped off the Coalescence.
You'll see the Valkyrie comes through. Reinhardt swings out as well. Self-Destruct on the point, finds no one by the looks of it. So just going to try and get that mech. Pizza's gone down. Ziggy's being demech. Not so great for Kanga now. SereNity should be able to continue holding this point from here, Jordan. Looking very good. They win that fight. Have 3 ultimates ready to go as well.
This is great work from SereNity. Just playing around their win conditions so well is that they're getting into the point without taking too much damage, or with the exception of Fluoro Ash getting picked off early in the other fight. But the impact of Roro is being really nullified by his inability to have as much of an impact on the point as Covino can have on the Reaper. And SereNity just really working around it quite nicely, managing their economy really, really well, and it's looking tough for Kanga to even get fight wins.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to win this fight because this is their last chance. Sound barriers out across the board. Everyone has shields. You can see the Coalescence and the Barrage. Roro finds one before eventually finding himself. They're still battling it out on the point. The Coalescence is now finished. They push forward. Covino's gone down. Roro's gone down. That's 5v5. The point ticking through, it's at 99%. We're into overtime, Elfishguy, and a couple of ultimates coming out across the board, including from the Reinhardt, that Earth Shatter. I don't know if it got anyone, but it forced them off. And great work from SereNity, looking really confident here.
Yeah. Excellent work from Mini. I thought because Arceus got demeched at like 95% of his self-destruct, it might be the way in there for Kanga, but unfortunately the kills just did not come past that. They weren't actually able to kill the baby D.Va. Then Mini comes up with the Earth Shadow, which admittedly didn't do too much as the fight was kind of already over at that point, but it was kind of a win more ultimate as opposed to try and get us back into this. And essentially SereNity do close out map 1, 2-1. Fairly close overall when you kind of consider the Nepal as a whole, but it sort of felt like, you know, that first one, it was a little bit...
Yeah, I want to push the first part away, right? I don't want to even talk about that. So, in reality, it almost feels like a 2-0 to me. In a way. Look, I mean, Kanga, they had their moments where they challenged there, but SereNity was just a little bit better, and this is what I was worried about for Kanga, is that, yeah, they are a team that can definitely contest SereNity, but I just almost feel like SereNity's got that little bit of a better peak, that little bit of a better grasp of how they're going to be working as a team, and so far so good for SereNity. They're up 1-0, 2 more maps to go is what they need to secure themselves a place in playoffs, and, well, Kanga, they still need 3. Well, we're heading over to our next map. Let's go and take a look at what Kanga have chosen. It's going to be Numbani, our hybrid map. We haven't seen any Hollywood today either, Jordan. It's
no. Everyone's been on Nepal, Numbani.
It's literally just been, I think, Junkertown and Dorado have been the...
Oh, no, we had Hanamura on her.
Oh, we did. Okay, well, we can't complain too much. We do complain too much, but we probably should.
Complaining is quite fun, isn't it? But anyway, moving over onto Numbani, and this is kind of the home ground, really, of Kanga Esports again. They do tend to lose those control maps, and so they do tend to pick their second map more often than not, which means we've seen them on Numbani fairly often here, and... so far, it hasn't really worked out for them too well. But then again, SereNity don't play Numbani too much. They tend to go on to Hollywood. So take from that what you will, Ben.
Maybe that's the choice here. Maybe that's why it's come out. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. However, SereNity on defense, Kanga Esports on attack. Looks like dive for now. We've seen dive be kind of 50-50 here, Jordan. It really just depends. Mostly, the defense will hold on that second high point.
Yeah, the back high point, I suppose.
Yep. Really is, can you chase the supports off? Often they'll drop down. Can you capture them out?
Or the soldier, even.
Yeah.
Those lower mobility targets is what you want to be aiming for with dive, and tends to be where we do see the attackers head on that high ground, but then inevitably the counter dive will come out from the defenders as well, so you need to be aware of your own supports and damage dealers as well. Here we go, the dive comes in from Kanga, and thus SereNity fall off the high ground.
They do indeed, but Pizza the first one now to go down. That's a great start from SereNity. Roro trying to stay alive. Nox actually finds another, and SereNity cleans up a third. Means theoretically they should be able to finish off the rest of this first push, and they will. Meaning going to be resurrected. SereNity holding firm.
All's well that ends well for SereNity there, and in fact it's ended better than well because they've been able to stagger Davey. And the ultimate's starting to come up pretty nicely for SereNity as well. Self-destruct is 60%. I thought that was a mech, not a baby D.Va, but still 60%, not too bad. Nox has got the pulse bomb, could potentially shut down the next fight if he's able to get off a nice one here. And that would definitely buy enough time for the rest of the SereNity players to get their ultimates up. And have a look at this. Locust and Nox are going to find each other. Nox steals away the health pack, though.
That's what you want to do. They're going to try and fight on the high ground. Kavino's going down, talking about having a little bit less mobility there on the soldier. Resurrected now by Fluoro. Ash Nox throws down a pulse bomb, finds no one. Transcendence calms out. Along with the self-destruct, that Pizza gone. Nice work, Arceus. SereNity still with all their players left alive. Kanga with everyone other than their one tank there. And a great self-destruct coming out from Ziggy.
Is it going to be enough, though? Kavino's up on the tactical visor. Not sure that he's going to end up using it here. Yes, he will. It's going to be denied, majority of it at least, by Ziggy, but it's still going to be enough. Oh, he should clean everything up there, and Mini dives in at the right time as well. SereNity, they're going to hold strong on this first point. Not even that second tick goes the way of Kanga. Almost there, but not quite.
Not quite, but so close, Jordan. So very close. Alas, it's not going to be enough. If only they had found that second tick. That's really what they would have loved to see out of that, but SereNity not with much on the defensive. Kanga should be able to get this one, and the Dragon Blade now comes out. Will follow Roro out, see if he can find anyone. Kavino's gone down. Merit's taking a ton of damage but stays alive until that very point. Locust chases down Arceus. The resurrection comes out into Kavino. Roro needs to get healed up, drops back, stays alive. You can see that Forballs actually does a bit of damage. They get to that 2/3, but that's not going to be enough. I thought maybe Kanga could grab this point, but SereNity holding strong Elfishguy. Yeah. It's going to be difficult from here on out.
These fights are really just all over the place, aren't they? You know, we see some picks come out for Kanga, but never enough for them to quite cap up that point. And unfortunately, for Kanga, again, they're going to be pushed back. They do get the second tick, as you mentioned, but what they really want is to get that cap timer through, cap all 3 points, and then begin their streets phase. If they're not able to cap out this first point, it really puts the ball in SereNity's court. And at this point, it's not looking like they're going to be able to cap out this point, particularly given that SereNity's, you know, they've got one more push to hold off on. They're coming up on Tactical Visor and Transcendence, and they've already got a couple up as well.
Yeah, well, that's it. Their last push was their best chance, Jordan. It's going to be real tough from here. And as I say that, 2 players from SereNity get picked up very, very quickly. Transcendence forced out. Mini takes out Davey, but that might be the only hope here for SereNity, because Kanga forces their way through. 2 very quick picks here coming through on their final attack onto the A site. Will grab them the point as Mini should go down. Wow.
Just into overtime there for Kanga Esports, but SereNity will not be able to challenge this, and that was almost tragic really for SereNity, because look at Forballs. He's at 99%. He went down at about 94. If he would have had another 5 seconds in that fight, SereNity might have survived. Both of the healers went down at the perfect time really for Kanga to cap that one out. And you know, we saw a couple of counter picks come across for SereNity, but it was never going to be enough after losing both of their healers. And now Kanga will begin that payload on forward. Not a lot of time to play with still. 2 minutes is not a huge amount here for the streets phase. So SereNity are still in a good position, but not quite as good as what they were in before.
Yeah, this payload moves real slow, and it certainly doesn't go any faster even if you drop a sound barrier down. Roro ready to go with that Dragon Blade. C wants to get into the back line, but has to get out. A dodge as the self-destruct comes through. Davey's been picked up. Roro finds 1. There's 2. Pizza finds Nox in the meantime. Roro stays alive. And Locust now with this pulse bomb as well will be able to, doesn't even need it, let's be fair. Secures that fight, secures that crucial victory. 1:25 now on the clock. They needed to win that. They're going to have at least one more fight here on the streets phase of Numbani, even if they're all streets phases. But I like phase 2 to be the streets, Jordan. That's how I feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's me too. I agree. But look, 1 minute and 11 seconds left on the clock here for Kanga. SereNity, I think it's going to be a tough hold for them, actually, given the positioning of Kanga, the ultimate economy of Kanga as well. But one pick could be the difference for them. Unfortunately, Kanga's going to be the first one to get it, and SereNity might even struggle more so off the back of that.
Self-destruct comes through, everyone gets out of dodge, and everyone stays alive. Mini's gone down in the back line. Nox has to recall, stays alive. But in that process, everyone from the rest of SereNity goes down. Great work coming out from Kanga. They should be able to get B right now. Nox goes down. B is secured. 2 minutes and 7. Again, just over that 2-minute mark is what they have to work with. However, it's really not very much. They have to win all of their fights to get this through in any sort of reasonable time, Jordan. And SereNity has the ultimate advantage on defense.
Yeah, they do. Kanga is pushing forward quite substantially, though, from where they were on that first point. You know, everything at this point really, to me, feels like a bonus. So Kanga's definitely doing a great job, and SereNity forced back already. Maybe not the ideal dive there for Kanga, as SereNity have lost a player, or rather, Kanga's lost a player. I mean, they both have. Not too many ultis invested into, but now SereNity starting to make things happen.
Double sound barrier come out, as we said before. Dragon Blade not so good up against everyone with those shields. Mini tries to stay alive, does so for now. Fluorash picked up self-destruct coming through, finds no one. Pizza coming out with his Tesla cannon. Transcendent. It's going to come out from the other side of town. Forballs forces them back with the rest of the team. 1 minute 8 on the clock. Kanga with like 1 and a bit pushes now to try and get this all the way through. You did say, Jordan, this is a great effort considering where they got to, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Yeah, Fluorash with a bit of a run around there. Roro does have to chase him down, but inevitably does get the reset and gets the second onto Mini. Still, SereNity are managing to hold off fairly okay, while Kanga is winning this fight more or less. it's a slow progression from them, and it's still going to allow SereNity enough time to contest on this cart at least one final time before it does get capped.
It's a decent progression. They're going okay. They want to keep the payload moving, though. They want to have this last fight on the last point. They don't want to battle it all the way back. They want to just be able to knock them off and do their best here just to force it through, even if it's into overtime.
Kavino's up to almost 100% of that Dragon Blade. Could be the difference. There's nothing to defend against it for Kanga right now. Merit, though, up to 97% could be critical if he gets his ulti up, and he has managed to. So this is looking pretty good, actually, for Kanga, and Pizza goes down, so maybe that's less than ideal.
Yeah, and no mercy means no resurrection either. Kavino finds one, Nox does as well. Kavino dashes through, might be able to find another. Won't even need to. SereNity cleans up here on defense. And there we go. Round one is complete. So very close, but just too far away. Elfishguy, considering how it looked like they were going to lose, considering how on point A, their second to last push, they threw so many ultimates out there on attack and got nothing from it. Then they came through with the ult disadvantage, still managed to find two picks, grabbed the point. Oof, could have been a very different story.
Definitely, and look, SereNity, that's still something that they're going to have to struggle, or not necessarily struggle, but that's something that they're going to have to work for to get that far along. And they would be probably thinking, you know, we could have held them actually at first and made this job so much easier for ourselves, but they still have a bit of a battle ahead of them. I suspect we're going to see again just the dive comp coming out from SereNity. Kanga Esports in response will have the Soldier, have the Ana. And we'll see what Merit decides to go to. It'll probably be the Zenyatta, I would imagine.
You think that's Axiom, as in Omnix?
Yep, probably.
That would make sense, wouldn't it?
Well, Sigma was like an actual brand.
The watch.
It's lenses as well for cameras.
Oh yeah, it is. It is lenses.
Yeah.
The reality is that it's a, isn't it a Latin character or something? So that's probably. Anyway,
I have no idea.
I liked my talks about Axiom. If you are SereNity, it's been a tough battle for them so far. Like, it feels like they've been ahead, but everything they've done has made life just that little bit more difficult for themselves.
Definitely would agree. Like, it's always been Kanga fighting from behind, but they've been fighting well from behind, and they've been really pushing SereNity as far as they possibly can. So, look, I think Kanga's given themselves a pretty reasonable opportunity to actually win this map, and it comes down to how SereNity looks on that attack, because we did say Kanga did struggle maybe a little bit on their defense at times. So, let's see how they can do here.
SereNity coming out on attack. You'll see their running dive up against a relatively similar comp to what they ran on defense in Kanga.
Nox survives, though. The dive does come in there from SereNity. Kanga already off that high ground, but still no kills coming out for either team. These prolonged fights, I almost feel like, tend to favor the attackers. However, maybe not in this case. Kavino, though, farming up that ulti very nicely.
Not this time around, by the looks of things. Nox, the only one to do any sort of damage, demacking Ziggy.
Kavino just needs to stay in this fight as long as possible and try and... Yeah, look, he's up to 90% already. I don't know if Kanga's going to be prepared for that one. He's going to come into the next fight. I don't know if he'll commit the Dragon Blade, but it certainly could result in a pretty quick cap for SereNity if he does.
I'm ready for him to commit. I'm ready for you to commit the Dragon Blade, Kavino. No other ultimates coming out, those for SereNity anytime soon. Just Nox slowly getting through. They get a free tick here, Jordan. So this is the problem with not battling on the point. And then Pizza is baited onto the point by himself and goes down. Kavino onto Merit with the Dragon Blade. You see that Nanovisor coming out onto the Soldier. Finds one. That's Kavino shutting it down. Arceus tries to force his way back onto the point here on attack. Wants to try and stay alive. They get 2 ticks, Jordan. 2 ticks for free.
Yeah, look, what you say for free, SereNity did sort of put a little bit into that fight, but I do have to question why Kanga was holding so far back. Maybe they were still in the process of rotating up to the high ground or something like that. They were just caught off guard by the speed that SereNity came back into the point. I don't know. At the end of the day, though, they do manage to hold strong. So despite 2 ticks going over to SereNity, it's still a fight won by Kanga. Now SereNity have another tough job of getting their way into this point.
Blurash ready with the sound barrier. Merit ready to counter that one with the Transcendent. Should it be required? Healing across the board. Everyone will stay alive for a very long time. In this battle, sound barrier comes out. Self-destruct ready for Arceus. Will use it up on the high ground. Double self-destruct finds absolutely no one. Onto the point, they get very close. About 90% there on the capture, Jordan. Not going to be enough for now. You see there in the background, Locust finds a double pulse bomb kill. Nice work.
Arceus to jump off the edge there. And reset. Yeah, it looked close again. It just seems like Kanga's really holding quite far back. You know, they're not particularly too interested in contesting the point until they absolutely necessarily have to. Could be as a result of the fact that they've got Ana and Zenyatta, so they don't want either of them to get picked too easily. They just decide to disengage the fight and then re-engage on their own terms.
Potentially only 2 fights left here, Jordan, on attack.
It's tough for SereNity right now.
Yeah. It's going to be a big battle, and Pizza straight away decides to unload with that Primal Rage. You can see Davey ready to go as well. We'll see who's that used on. It's used on Roro with the tack visor. Finds Fluoro Ash. That helps. Pretty good so far for Kanga. Mini does get the D-Mech, and Nox takes down Davey, but it may not be enough here. One person on the point, make that 2 for SereNity, doing their best up against a Tracer who's found 2 kills. I don't think it's going to be enough here for SereNity.
Yeah, definitely Locust coming in at the perfect timing and coming up big for Kanga Esports there. I thought Roro might have spent a little bit too much time chasing down Fluoro Ash in the end, and it kind of looked like it was going to go SereNity's way for a moment, but like I said, Locust coming in, perfect timing, and now 1 push left here for SereNity. They might also be forced to cap this one into overtime, but they don't have any ultis to work with. Let's see if they can make it work.
Well, overtime it is, and all the players from Kanga here finding it out on the point. Mini looking very low now, has to duck on out, but that is both the tanks out of order here for SereNity. Nox finds Locust, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Pizza, and I was going to say Pizza's alive. Pizza's now dead. Ziggy still going strong. This overtime will tick away. SereNity, they can't do it, Jordan. Kanga going to win the map. It's 1 apiece.
Yeah, what a different story we could have seen had SereNity managed to hold out that entire point. In fact, I think SereNity would have won because they did get very close to capping out all 3. But in the end, look, Kanga's the better team there on Numbani, and we find ourselves at 1 apiece. But that was a very, very close map. Even though, you know, Kanga get all the way here to the 3rd stage and SereNity only, well, SereNity not even able to cap out the 1st point. There was some very key critical little moments in there that really could have tossed the tide one way or another for both of those 2 teams. I mean, SereNity
capturing point A. What about that
capturing point A. I mean, if Locust doesn't come in and get the 2 kills onto the tanks, maybe SereNity caps that one out. Maybe someone's able to hold on. You know, like, for example, 5 seconds later in that fight, we see Forbles come up onto his Transcendence on the defensive side for SereNity.
So close.
What a difference that could have made. It's just the little things, but it's finally we're getting a bit of a closer match than, I suppose, what we've seen so far, but definitely what we expected.
Look, it's Australian Contenders, Elfishguy, which means I can say this is a cracker of a match. We are halfway through our last match of the day. These 2 teams playing for a spot in the playoffs. The top 8 teams making their way through, 4 from this group, and these teams are 4 and 5. And since they're 1 apiece, means it's very, very close. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll find out who our victor will be.